Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. And good evening and welcome to one and all. Good morning. Because Hyderabad we say good evening, because the discourse is in the evening, you see. So every time we say good evening, so it comes out. Good evening. Hyderabad Maha Bodhi Discourses at 6 o'clock evening time. So good morning and welcome to one and all. And so as you have all come here, gathered here for this Sunday Discourse program, Sunday Dhamma program, it is you have made the effort all the way to come from your home. Many of you are offering dana and to participate in these wholesome activities. That itself is the right beginning, that you have all made the effort to come here and taken the sila and practice meditation together and sitting here to listen to the Dhamma. And the Dhamma that Lord Buddha gave us for the purification of our heart, for the liberation. So today we will learn about a sutta called Anuggahita Sutta, supported. What are the supporting causes and conditions to develop the right understanding in the Anguttara Nikaya, book of 5. So when we say right view or right understanding, we all have some level of understanding. We all understand things. For example, we say, where are you sitting? If somebody were to ask you, you will say, I am sitting here at Maha Bodhi Society in the Dhamma hall in the main temple. So this is a level of understanding that we have. Okay, I'm listening to the discourse given by the monks. This is one level of understanding. But then it need not be 100% correct also. We have a conventional level of understanding about things. Or we perceive things. For example, we perceive this is a hall, this is table or chair or doors and windows and monks and lay people, like this. We perceive. But then it need not be always 100% correct. Why? Because these are ultimately conventional things. When we look at things like this only in the conventional way, purely in the conventional way, then we get caught with the likings or dislikings. The things that are pleasant or agreeable, we say this one in the conventional sense, we want to get hold of it. Or the things that are unpleasant, disagreeable, we want to repel. So that's how we can never be free from samsara, we can never be free from suffering. Because our heart is always caught with the likings and dislikings. So Lord Buddha told us, don't go by just your understanding. Develop the right understanding, samadhi. What is samadhi? To understand the suffering, the cause, dukkha jnanam, dukkha samudaya jnanam. That's what is suffering, how it arises, how it can cease, what is the way, what is the path to make an end of suffering. So this is the right understanding. So to develop the right understanding means to develop this wisdom of these four noble truths that can liberate us. We say noble truths. Four noble truths. Chattari Arya Sachani. We say noble truths, why? Because you understand them, then you become a noble person. You truly, fully understand them, then you become a noble person, Arya, enlightened person. So this noble truth, then you understand it thoroughly, completely, then you are yourself enlightened person. That's why you call them noble truths, because it leads to noble wisdom, noble release, noble liberation. So how to develop these right view? How to develop this right view? There is a view and there is right view. For example, as I was saying, this is the hall, Dhamma hall. It has doors and windows and stage and cushions and sitting chairs or some benches and all kinds of things, monks and lay people and so many things. But then this level of understanding is not complete. Whatever it has, whatever material things this hall possesses, whatever material things, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, they all are subject to change, impermanent. Impermanent. If there is no impermanence, if there was nothing, if things are permanent, for example, if everything was permanent, everything was permanent, everything was satisfactory, if there was an essence or a self, then there is no Buddha. Then there is no Buddha. The Buddha is because things are impermanent. You understand? Who's the Buddha? Who says, who teaches us? Look at things in the right way. Level up the wisdom so that you understand their true nature. But if things were otherwise, what did Lord Buddha teach? Impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and non-self. But things were just opposite of this, then there is no need for a Buddha. Because things are perfect and stable. But then things aren't perfect and stable, that's why there is a Buddha. There will be many Buddhas, there were many Buddhas in the past, there will be many Buddhas in future. Because of this, because of inherent nature of change. And change is there, but people don't see the change. That's why there is a need for a Buddha. Who points out to this change, who points out to impermanence, who points out to unsatisfactory nature, who points out to non-self. That's the purpose of the Buddha. Who points out to the wisdom, right understanding. Because on our own we don't have the right understanding. We don't go by impermanence. When we live our lives, we don't think this is going to change. This nature is to change. When children are small, for example, the parents love their children. They have a lot of affection for their children. When the children grow up, the same parents and children fight like enemies. Why is it? Is there anything unusual in this? Or it is just normal? It's because everybody changes. Their perceptions change, their understanding changes, the way they look at things changes. So that's how. The same children that when they are small, the parents love them so much, and then when they grow up, they fight with them so much. I mean, Lord Buddha also says in one sutta, I think, Maha Sutta, I think, or somewhere, Like because of this craving, parents fight with their children, children fight with their parents, friends fight with their friends, like this, in many ways. So the thing is, that's why there is Buddha who says, if you have children, look at them wisely. Don't be so obsessed. If you have parents, look at them wisely. Don't be so obsessed. Don't take things as it comes to you. I try to understand what is reality behind this. So this hall is hall, made up of 4 elements. And all the material things inside the hall made up of these 4 elements: solidity, liquidity, gas, and heat. But then this is for the sake of convention, it's a hall. But when these 4 elements stay together for some time, the hall stays. And then when it has to change, these 4 elements, they has to undergo change. Then the hall will have wear and tear. And then at some point of time, today, tomorrow, 100 years later, it will cease to exist. Like all things. Like you go to Jetavana, you go to Veluvana, you go to so many places where Lord Buddha lived. And then when you go to these places, now you say, oh, they are all in ruins. But that's exactly the way they are supposed to be. Were they supposed to be intact after 2,500, 600 years? No. Supposed to break down. Because of various causes, but that's how the 4 elements are. Supposed to break down, they are. That's why Lord Buddha says, even this Dhamma also that I am giving, it will stay for a certain time and then slowly disappear. He didn't say, the Dhamma I am teaching is permanent and will stay for all times. He didn't say. Slowly people will forget, because the minds of the people will change. Dhamma will be forgotten. So the Dhamma, this wonderful, most precious thing in the world, even to that also Lord Buddha didn't have any clinging. That supreme Dhamma that he discovered sitting under the Bodhi tree, that can liberate the beings, that is so immeasurable, immaculate, pure. Even to this Dhamma also Lord Buddha didn't have a clinging. Why? He knew, okay, I'm teaching, some people will understand, at some point of time it will also be forgotten. That's how things are. I don't need to break my head for this. So the 5 things. So this is the wisdom of the Buddha, that he wanted us also to develop within us. How do we develop? 5 things. Lord Buddha says, you must develop these 5 things. What are these 5 things? First is called sila. Good behavior, good moral behavior, right way of living, right way of speech, right way of bodily actions, right way of conducting oneself, which is good for ourselves, which is good for other people. Sila is good for example, now you took these 5 Panchashila, 5 precepts. Now, if you follow that, that's good for you. If you don't harm, then you are unlikely to be harmed. If you do not steal, then you are unlikely to be robbed or anything to be stolen or lost from you. You create conditions. By following the Sila, you create conditions when you are not harming or causing trouble or suffering to others. You are creating conditions for suffering to stop. You are creating conditions that suffering doesn't come your way. That's the power of Sila. When the Sila is well practiced, then we have created enough strong conditions so that harm or suffering or discomfort will not come our way. Either it will not come our way, or even if it comes, it will not be able to give so big or strong results. It will give a small or minor result. That's the power of our virtue, our good verbal actions or our good physical actions. Whether it is Panchashila, whether it is 8 precepts or any precepts. But then it's not only that much. As I said, we create these conditions. We create conditions for the Sila. by practicing sila. But how do we create those conditions? That there's an intention to follow the sila. If we want to follow sila, we intend, okay, I should be good. I should not harm others. I should do things which are good for myself and for other people. I should not cause harm or suffering to others. Or I should not do things which are anyway not so wholesome. So we create a condition in the mind first. That's where it starts, our intention. We recognize, okay, these are the things based on how people live generally. If you go around and see here or in another place or in another city or in another country, how people live, or even not in the human realm, another realms, how beings live through primarily greed, hatred and ignorance. Primarily. They think with greed, they act with greed. They think with hatred, they act with hatred. And behind these two, there is ignorance. Thinking this is one way of gaining happiness. But this is a way to gain more suffering or long-lasting suffering. So that's the ignorance. So greed and hatred and ignorance. That's how people live. And when people live with too much of greed, hatred and ignorance, then they don't follow the sila. If they want to rob other people, they rob. They want to cheat other people, they cheat. They want to harm other people, they harm. They want to deceive other people by lying, they deceive by lying, whatever. So then in that case they don't. If people have a lot of greed, hatred and ignorance, and they are just controlled by greed, hatred and ignorance, then they will not follow the sila. They will not. Because their only impulse is controlled by the greed, hatred and ignorance. Like the animals. The animals, is it possible to follow the sila? Almost impossible. Almost impossible. Not fully impossible. Maybe if some animals had a lot of merit from the past lives, like our Bodhisattva, when Buddha, before becoming Buddha, many lives he was Bodhisattva. Even as animal also, he was living a virtuous life. Or sometimes some animals you see, for example, you see some animals, they don't harm other animals so easily. But not so very rare. The thing is, they are guided by fully greed, hatred and ignorance, so it's difficult for them to follow the sila. So when you follow the sila, you also make an intention to do things that are good for ourselves and other people. But behind that intention also there is a bit of wisdom. That if we just act through these impulses of greed, hatred and ignorance, then this is harmful for us. This will bring pain and suffering. So that's also a part of right view. So when you practice like this, then your sila is not just the sila. It is higher sila, adhi sila. You don't follow things just like a ritual. You follow things with wisdom. This leads to welfare. This leads to harm and suffering. So this is a kind of right way of practicing sila. So every time you come here 5 precepts. What are these 5 precepts? 5 precepts is elevated way of living. We have the body of human beings, for example. Now we call ourselves human beings. We have the body of human beings. But then if our conduct is not like human beings, so anyone below the level of 5 precept may not be fully human actually, below human, subhuman, more animalistic. If they are to harm or to cheat or to deceive or not to respect the relationships or to indulge in intoxicants, then they are below human, calling themselves human but not really so. So that's why Lord Buddha gave us this. Okay, I'm giving you something that will elevate your life to the human level, to the superior level, to the noble level. These 5 precepts, if you take them and follow them, your life will be elevated. So that's the practice of sila. Then what is the next? Lord Buddha saying, supported by learning of Dhamma. So like here, you have come here, you are learning now the right view, how to develop the right understanding. We all have understanding, but understanding may or may not be wise. How to develop the wise understanding, true understanding of the nature of things. Suffering as suffering. Cause of suffering as cause of suffering. How to do. So where you learn, we all learn. Where do we learn from? From the Dhamma that taught by the Lord Buddha. Sometimes we read by ourselves. Sometimes we learn from our teachers. Like you have come here to listen to the discourse. The monks give discourse. Then you learn. This is how, if I practice like this, then my mind will be ready. My mind will be well conditioned to give rise to the wisdom. Now you are learning. I want to learn the 5 factors. First factor is the right way of practicing sila. Second is to devote yourself. So you learn many things. We learn many things, We learn so many things in our lives. We study so much, we get so many degrees, and people become erudite in so many ways. But then all these learnings or so-called knowledges have certain limitations. The limitation is they don't really allow us to see the things as they really are. They don't. Like for example, if doctors study so much about the human body, so much. Human body is like this is sickness, that is sickness, this is how this sickness comes, that is how that sickness comes, this is how this body is, this thing. So many things about each and every part of the body and their sickness, and so many medicines also, how to cure the body. But even after all this, they may not understand, okay, if this body is like this, then it is really fragile and unreliable. This is not really a dependable thing. If it is likely to be sick in this way and that way and 1,000 different ways, then is it reliable? Can I rely on this for too long? Something will happen to this body. Because it is fragile, it is liable to be falling sick. That is the wisdom. Everything else is intellectual knowledge. But that, if you understand, then this body is not dependable. That's why Lord Buddha says, contemplate what? Vyadhi dhammang hi vyadhing anatitoti. Lord Buddha says, you should contemplate, I have not gone beyond the disease. Disease can come any time. This is the right contemplation, right understanding. Everything else about kidney and liver and pancreas and everything else is still intellectual understanding, not the right understanding. Because it doesn't tell us this will break up, this is always changing, and this will surely break up. That it doesn't tell. So, learning the Dhamma, being dedicated to, even Lord Buddha said that learning the Dhamma is such an important thing. Many times, Bahut Sutta. Who has learned the Dhamma again and again, wishes to learn the Dhamma. Why do we want to learn the Dhamma? Just for some kind of intellectual understanding, or intellectual some kind of complex, I know this, I know that. Not for these things. We want to learn the Dhamma. We want to learn the words of the Buddha. We want to try to understand the words of the Buddha because we want to see this appearing within our heart, what the Lord Buddha says, anicca. We try to see how the impermanence arises, and we can see it in our mind. How the unsatisfactoriness arises, how we can see it. So that it changes the way we look at things. It changes our perspective. Perception. Sanya, we say sanya. In Pali we say say sanya, in English perception. Perception is everywhere, no? Now that you are sitting here, sitting on the cushion, you perceive this is the cushion. If sitting on the ground, you perceive this is the ground. We perceive. But that perception isn't always correct. Perception is based on what we see through our senses, but not always with wisdom. Whether it is the cushion, whether it is the floor, whether it is a much more comfortable chair or table or sofa, it will still be painful after some time. Subject to change. Our perception doesn't tell us this. When we look at the doors and windows and chairs and tables and cushions, it doesn't tell us, no? It says this is a car, this is a cushion, this is a man, this is a woman, this is a building. It says so many things, our perceptions. But it doesn't tell us. It will still change. Huh? It doesn't tell us, no? It does? It doesn't. One time I was going to an invitation to some Upasaka's house. I think his house is in a place where they had a lot of big buildings earlier, some few years back. Then I looked at those buildings. Oh, these are so many big buildings. Maybe a lot of wealthy people living here. I was going in the car. Then suddenly it came to, in spite of living here, these people are still going to die and become dead bodies. You see? Even you live in a big luxurious apartment, it's still going to be a dead body someday. Can you escape this? Can anyone escape this? So our perception doesn't tell. Perception says, this is a luxury apartment. This must be inhabited by a lot of wealthy people. Our perception doesn't tell us that these people are going to die. It's just like any other people who are living on the road or living here, both are going to die. That's all. No big deal. Aging, sickness, death is common for all. There, no discrimination. Our perception doesn't tell us this. So we develop the right perception. Huh? How do we develop? That's why Lord Buddha says, learn the Dhamma. Because when Lord Buddha has given the Dhamma, he hasn't given the Dhamma based on perception. He has given the Dhamma based on samadhi, his own realization, which is free from all perceptions, which is based on right understanding. That's why we learn the Dhamma, to reduce our perceptions to some extent, at least, wrong perceptions to some extent. So learning. And then discussion. Sakkacha. Kalena Dhamma Sakkacha. Even this itself is a great blessing. Kalena Dhamma Sakkacha etang mangalamuttamang. Lord Buddha says, this is a great blessing. Discuss about the Dhamma. We discuss about many things, no? We can discuss about so many things, n number of things we can discuss. And about the world, or origin of the world, ending of the world, or people, how they are and good or bad, or politicians or film stars, or so many sports or entertainment, or so many n number of things we can discuss about. But then these discussions do not lead to the reduction of craving and reduction of ignorance. They do not. It leads to increase of ignorance and craving. When we discuss about the things of the world, okay, this is so good, this is so bad, this is pleasant, this is unpleasant, they did like this, they didn't do like this. This leads to more ignorance and craving. It doesn't lead to the reduction of ignorance and craving. So Lord Buddha has given us, if you want to discuss, then you can discuss about Dhamma. When you discuss about Dhamma, then you contemplate. Contemplate the reality of life. If there is suffering, you contemplate as suffering. Like, for example, you go around, or you people who, all of you are sitting here, If we have suffering, Do we have suffering? But all the time we are not aware of it. Sometimes we are caught. This is non-suffering. That is non-suffering. Huh? Lord Buddha, what he says? Sabbe sankhara dukkha. So sometimes things that are unsatisfactory, we take them as satisfactory. Many times. Because our understanding or wisdom is maybe not so strong. Our mindfulness is not so strong. Huh? So we take things like this. But if you keep your mind busy from time to time to discuss about the Dhamma, then you go back to these right understanding. Yes, Lord Buddha is saying there is suffering. At least to some extent, at certain times I can acknowledge there is this suffering or that suffering. I'm unhappy in this way or that way. I feel unsatisfactory in this way or that way. Big or small, whatever it is still suffering. Not freedom from suffering. So then we discuss about the Dhamma to keep our mind at the right place. When we discuss about the Dhamma, when we take delight in the Dhamma, then our mind becomes peaceful, joyful. Then even the piti also can arise. Rapture. If you discuss the Dhamma with a lot of dedication, saddha, a lot of dedication towards the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and also towards your own purification, then piti, joy, the rapture or the sukha also will arise. When you discuss about the world and the objects of the world, then only cravings will arise. Craving with regard to the liking or kamatanha, bhavatanha, vibhavatanha. Craving with regard to the likings or dislikings. That only will arise. It is impossible that non-craving or non-clinging will arise discussing about the world and enjoying about the worldly discussions. But then that's why Lord Buddha says discuss about the Dhamma. Sakkacha. Dhamma Sakkacha. Then the fourth factor is tranquility. Practice of meditation. Making our mind peaceful, like you were practicing anapanasati sometimes before. So, allowing our awareness to stay with the breath. To stay with the breath, when we allow it to stay with the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, natural in-breath and the out-breath, then it tends to become more peaceful, well settled. Well settled, well composed, not disturbed by too many of the things, external things. Our mind is mostly busy in the how are we busy? Whatever we see or hear or smell or taste or feel with the body touch sensation or whatever thoughts and feelings come in the mind. In these 6 ways only we can be busy. No other way, no? That's only our world. What is your world? What is your world? What is my world? Only the 6 senses and their objects. Beyond this, nothing. Eye and ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. And sight or visible things and sound, smell, taste, touch sensations and thoughts and feelings. That's how the world is. Beyond this you cannot experience things, no? Beyond this there is Lokuttara, Nibbana. But that as of now, are you experiencing? Anyone? I don't think so, no? So anyways, when you are experiencing the world, you experience these 6 senses and their objects. That's how. That's all. So, if our mind is always busy with them, six senses and their objects, then the mind can never be peaceful, because it goes to here one object, it goes to there another object. Even when we are sitting in our meditation, as you observe your breath, your mind goes to some kind of thinking at times, thinking about the past or future. And mental feelings, whatever arises out of those, some thoughts you like, some thoughts you do not. Some mental feelings, it's pleasant, some are not. So the practice of samadhi, it's collectedness of mind. It's not like a concentration. Concentration means you forcefully putting it in one place. No, it's samadhi, it's samadhang chittang. Like it all comes and becomes well collected. Your entire mind comes and settles down here. Peaceful, collected unification of mind. Naturally it comes, it becomes well collected, it becomes one-pointed. So why do we practice the samadhi? Samatha, samadhi? Because it makes our mind powerful in a way. It is undisturbed by the six senses and our objects when the samadhi is strong. For normal people, when they're always, that's why we call kama vachara, sense realm of the senses. We live in the kama vachara, no? So all the time it is busy with the senses and their objects. And when it is busy with the senses and objects, wisdom cannot arise. Right understanding, because it is busy with seeing, and then what it sees, what happens after seeing? What happens after hearing? And what happens after the smell? Then there is feeling. Salayatana pachaya passa pachaya vedana. When the six senses come in contact with their objects, then there is feeling. Feeling that are pleasant or unpleasant or sometimes neutral. When the feelings arise, the craving arises. Passa pachaya vedana, vedana pachaya tanha. Craving arises. When the craving arises, mind cannot see. What is suffering cannot see. What is cause of suffering cannot see. What is freedom from suffering cannot see. So we practice the samadhi so that it becomes unaffected, it is balanced and powerful and unaffected by the six senses all the time, at least for some time. It's like a prisoner, as of now maybe. A prisoner who runs away from the jail. Runs away from the jail and then roams around freely for 1 or 2 days, and then the police come and catch him and put him in jail back again. And then again he runs away after a few days, and again they catch him and put him in jail. But by that, again and again, as he runs out, breaks jail, this jailbreaking happens, he runs away from the jail, he becomes more experienced how to get out of the jail and how not to get caught so easily. And then one day he finally runs away so far away that nobody can catch him. Nobody can catch him. So the practice of samadhi is also running away, moving away from the sense objects, but only for a short time. Maybe a second, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But then when it is well practiced, then they can go away from the sense objects for a long time. Then the sense objects do not come and catch them, put them back in the prison of the world so easily. So that's the practice of samadhi. That's the fourth factor. And then the vipassana, wisdom, insight. As you develop this samadhi, your mind is unaffected by the sense objects, mind is clear. Mind is clear, very sharp. No blurring of the vision, no? We say blurring of the vision, but the vision is not blurred at all, fully strong vision. When the mind is not blurred at all by any of these nibbaranas and sense objects and such things, then the mind can see what it is. What is clean water as clean water, dirty water as dirty water. What is defilement as defilement, what is freedom from defilement as freedom from defilement. The insight. What is suffering, what is cause of suffering, what is the ending of suffering, and what is the path leading to the ending of suffering. The wisdom. So this is the fifth factor. So that's how when one should develop the right understanding. The sila, then the learning of the Dhamma, discussion about the Dhamma, practicing of meditation, samatha, samadhi, one-pointedness, collectedness of mind, and that one-pointedness or collectedness of mind leading to wisdom, leading to right understanding. Samatha, vipassana. Sometimes we use it differently, but that's like picking, like its table is here, no? You pick it up from the legs. The upper portion will anyways come up, they are attached. You pick it up from the top portion, the legs will anyways come up. So if the samadhi is good and strong, if it is samma samadhi. If it is samma samadhi, then it will lead to samma panya and then samma vimutti. That's how it is, no? Lord Buddha didn't say samma panya and samma vimutti because it is understood. If the samma samadhi is achieved, then samma panya and samma vimutti also will arise. So, these 5 factors: sila, learning of Dhamma, discussion of Dhamma, practice of meditation, samatha vipassana, calmingness of the mind leading to wisdom, liberation. So if these 5 factors, Lord Buddha says, if you practice them sincerely, then your samadhi will arise. Samadhi will arise. Not just the samadhi will arise. He says something else. He says, not just samadhi. Samadhi will arise as awareness, cheto vimutti and panya vimutti. Cheto vimutti and panya vimutti, these 2 words, not just samadhi. He says, means your mind will be free from defilements, then you will become a liberated person. Panya vimutti, your mind, all the ignorance will fall apart. The wisdom will remain, panya vimutti. So this cheto vimutti, panya vimutti, liberation, if you practice like this, then truly the liberation will arise. Freedom from suffering, liberation, nibbana will arise within your heart. This will be the result. That's what the sutta that Lord Buddha says. So may you be able to remember, and may you be able to practice and develop your heart according to the Dhamma. May all of you, and especially all the donors, may all of you share all the merits and whatever, and also all your departed relatives and friends, they also share the merits, and may all beings continue to progress on the path of Dhamma. Sukhino bhavantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.